Hey awesome people, welcome to another episode of SewAddicts. Today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to taper and slim fit your blazers. So I'm pretty sure we all have blazers and jackets that fit everywhere from the shoulders to the sleeve, but they just don't have that slim fit look you're looking for. So this video is going to show you how to make that happen. I'm going to be showing you guys how to taper your blazer and get rid of all that extra fabric that you do not need. So I'm going to say this alteration is probably going to take about 25 to 30 minutes, give or take, and it is super beginners friendly. So I'm really excited to show you guys this video. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. It's so nice having you here. If you haven't already, hit down that subscribe button. Make sure to do so you can see more awesome videos from me. And let's just get started with the tutorial. So I have my jacket all pinned up, taking in the measurements I want to take away from my jacket. So as you guys can see, I do have pockets in this jacket, so it's going to be hard to take in anything below those pockets. So that's why I only have it pinned at the sides from the armhole all the way to the pocket point. But then if you do have this problem, you could definitely just take in all the fullness or the rest of the fullness at the center back as well. So I also have my center back pinned in and my side seams pinned in. As you guys can see, I don't have any measurements pinned in at the bottom because I like the way the bottom is. So if you do want to take in at the bottom, all you got to do is just take in from the top from your center back all the way to the bottom. But since I'm not doing that, I only have it pinned to around the pocket area because I like the way the bottom fits across my hip. So the next thing we're going to do now is to actually open up the bottom to about 7 inches. So this is where we're going to be able to access the blazer point and go in to actually take in our excess fabric. So after having this all opened up, now we're going to go in and actually trace out our points where I marked with the pins. So I am pinned in about an inch on this side, which is ½ inch on both sides of my fabric, and we're just gonna go in and actually trace those marks so we have marks to indicate how much we're gonna take in. So you just really want to trace out all your points in each side of the seam. So you want to also trace out your markings at the center back and also the other side as well. And when you're done, you can just go right ahead and take out all your pins. So now we're just gonna flip our jacket inside out, and now remember, I'm only taking in how much I want to take in my waist. This measurement really depends on how much you want to take in on your side. So it could be more, it could be less, it could be little. It really doesn't matter. It really just depends on what you think is going to make your jacket fit a little more. So now I'm going in and I'm just like retracing all my marks that I got from my pinned points, and I'm making sure that I have those marks traced out really nice so I could just go on my sewing machine and sew this nice and neat. So as you guys can see, my center back is going from nothing all the way down to nothing. Like I said, I'm not going all the way down because I do like that excess space. I do like that space in my hip area, so I don't want to take anything in there. So I'm going from point all the way to point. If you want to go all the way to the bottom, you could definitely go all the way to the bottom as well. So I'm just tracing all the way from my armhole here to that pocket, and we're just gonna do the same thing that we do for our main fabric also to the lining. So I'm just putting this, matching up my main fabric and lining together, finding out that pocket part, and I'm just making sure that I'm able to mark out how much I'm taking in on my fabric, on my lining as well, from that armhole all the way to that point of the pocket. And I'm also doing the same thing for my center back, marking it from nothing all the way to nothing, just like we did for the main fabric. And you want to do the same thing for the other side as well. You do not have to measure exactly the same measurement that you take in for your main fabric, because the lining is the lining and it could really use a little bit more room. So you could take in a little less, maybe a ¼ inch, depending on you. So now we're on the sewing machine and I'm just going right ahead and actually sewing down the one of the seams of the center back. And as you guys can see, I'm sewing from nothing at the top to nothing at the bottom, just like this. So you have that nice dip curve from nothing at the top coming out and going back to nothing at the bottom. So you want to pretty much do this step for every seam, the center back seam and the 2 side seams as well, doing it all the way to the bottom. Now again, if you were gonna take in all your fabric from the top to the bottom, you will have to do from nothing all the way to the bottom, but I'm doing from nothing, taking in and going to nothing at my bottom. So I'm also doing this for the lining as well. Whatever you do for the main fabric, you also want to do to the lining as well. So now we have this all sewn up. As you guys can see, I have taken from nothing to the top to nothing at the bottom because I wanted to leave all that space and extra fabric at the bottom because it fit my hip and it wasn't too big. And now I've also done the same thing for my lining as well. And after this step, now we're gonna take off our old stitch. So you just want to grab your seam ripper, and I'm just gonna remove the old stitch. You want to remove this so we could press open that seam. Now most people sometimes usually cut this down, but I would advise that you don't, because you never know if you gain some weight or lose some more weight. You're able to pretty much go back in and open the seams to match whatever your waist is over time. So you really just want to leave this excess fabric in there. So after opening it up, as you guys can see, I also went ahead and actually pressed this down on the iron so it lays nice and flat. And now we're just gonna turn this back right sides out. So at this point, your lining should also fit the way your main fabric fits as well. And you could also go ahead and just press this neatly on the iron so it lays nice and flat. Now we're just gonna go right ahead and cover that hole that we opened up at the beginning of this video. And I'm just gonna go right ahead and actually use a needle and thread, and I'm actually just gonna slip stitch this close. So you do see that little flap at the bottom of the lining. So now we're just gonna go right ahead and attach the lining to the main fabric by literally just picking a little bit of the lining and picking a little bit of the main fabric and slip stitching that through. So at the bottom of the jacket, as you guys notice, you do have that fold going over where you hide the stitch. So you just want to make sure to flip that up, grab a little bit of your lining, grab a little bit of your fabric, and just sew that through. So as you guys can see, I'm grabbing a little bit of my lining, I'm grabbing a little bit of my fabric, and I'm just sewing that through. So now you just want to make sure to do this until you pretty much close up that hole. So after that, your jacket at this point is pretty much done. I went ahead and actually pressed this nicely and neat as well. As you guys can see, everything is nice and neat, and your jacket looks significantly smaller than before. So that is pretty much the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of SewAddicts. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and also learned a bunch of stuff. Now you can just go out in your closet, take all those jackets and blazers and slim fit them the way you like them, like perfect to your body. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial once again. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you have any questions or suggestions for me, make sure to scroll down and leave me a couple of words or comments. I'm definitely looking at those as well. And one more thing I want you guys to do, if you're doing any of my tutorials, alterations, or any of my creative videos, make sure to tag me in all your awesome photos on Instagram at DamiAdenikeX, so you'll have a chance to be featured on the SewAddicts Spotlight channel here and on my Instagram. So make sure to scroll down and click on that link to my Instagram and definitely tag me in all your awesome photos as well. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to scroll down. Scroll down right now at the bottom of this big screen. Make sure to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you can see more awesome videos from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial once again, and I hope to catch you awesome SewAddicts next week.